So let's talk about equity, because that's the other word, right? That's there now. We can go to conferences to talk about equity. And equity is an important concept that's come along with these ideas of looking at the opportunity gaps, not just asking. So what we know we have now is clearly a situation in which, in many communities, there's nothing even close to equity. Those boxes are all stacked very highly for some young people, and some can't even begin to see over the fence to know what's on the other side, right? But this journey from inequality to equity is one that we have to think about carefully. Because what we have now, we tend to say, well, what we need to do is just it's easy. We take those boxes and we spread them out, and every kid gets a box. And that concept works, except for two things. First, reality is the ground that kids are standing on is not even, right? So if I am living in a neighborhood without a grocery store, with poor transportation, with substandard housing, I'm not on equal ground. That doesn't have safe playgrounds. We can go on and on. I'm not on equal ground. So just giving me a box doesn't work. Reality two, there are structural and institutional barriers that have persisted and even gotten worse over the years. That fence that young people are looking over is not a straight fence. So the combination of the ground sloping down and the fence sloping up means that if we're trying to get young people to see over the fence, to understand what's ahead, we got to stack the boxes in a completely different way. So equity, if the goal is all young people can see over the fence, equity actually is a pretty massive redistribution of the boxes, and a recognition that we've got to tackle these persistent and pervasive and structural issues. So get rid of that picture, hang on to this new picture of equity. But the story's not over, because we can say equality is not enough. We want to really replace it with this more complicated concept of equity. But the question is, we still have the barriers. Isn't the goal to actually take them down? Yes, of course. We want to actually reduce the barriers. We want young people to not just be able to peek over the fence. We want them to have a sense that they can actually see the whole game. So we want to talk about opportunity. We're closing those gaps. We're reducing those barriers. Question, is reducing the barriers enough? You can tell my answer is going to be no. There was a little box there waiting to be filled, because we've got to get young people into the game. So again, back to that Social Genome Project slide. If we focus just on reducing the barriers and not making sure that young people are ready to be in the game, we still are failing our young people. We've got to do both things. We've got to focus on getting the barriers out. We've got to focus on getting the services in. But we've got to focus and have a laser commitment to making sure that young people are building those skill sets and mindsets to make sure that they are ready. And the content, knowledge, this is not just about skill sets and mindsets, but we need to build those so that they can generate and grow and master the things that are important to us and important to them, so that when it's time for them to be in the game, they are truly ready to be in that game and be successful. So we have got to get our young people ready to play in the game, and that's playing whatever game they want to play in.